This is Photogram Kaleidoscope Part 2. So as I saw some people putting their photograms together, I noticed that they had some pink, and I noticed that mine was pink, and that I didn't mention that we wanted to make it whites and have blacks and have this nice range of grays. So how do we fix that? So I'm going to show you my after. So basically what I did was just add curves to each of these layers to make it white now instead of pink. And then after I did that, I noticed that both of these were kind of gray compared to that. So then I added another curves layer on here to get that rich black out of there. So how do I do this from the beginning? If this is where I left off, I thought I was done, and then all of a sudden I have this like pink, you know, and black and white composition. So what you want to do is I'm going to go down to, I'm going to pick my first pink layer, and I'm going to go to my black and white cookie, my adjustment layers, and I'm going to add a curves layer. And then I'm going to pull up to get my rich black, and then pull down until I get to my white that I want. And I might have to kind of pull around to really get what I want here. And I'm like happy with it. All right, now here's the problem, is that this curves layer is now on top of all of these, and it's affecting all of them, except that right now it has an arrow. But how did I do that? Because it's doing it because I did it with this one right here. What I did was I held down the Alt Option key on my keyboard, and then I hovered over between the layer and the adjustment curves layer. And then what this does is it brings up this little arrow, and when I select that, then it will link just this curves layer just to this very first layer, and not all the other layers. So that's how you can link an adjustment layer to just one layer. Again, I held down the Alt Option key, and I hovered over between them. And when I did that, we'll get this little arrow, and that means that, hey, you're locking this adjustment layer to just this layer. So you want to do the same thing with the other pink layer. I have this really bad one, so I'm going to again go to my black and white cookie, go to curves, and I'm going to bring up my blacks and bring down the pink until I get that white that I want, which might take some time, and you might have to move it around. And after doing that, I need to make sure that it's linked. So if it looks like this, you gotta hold down Alt Option, hover between the curves adjustment layer and the layer that you want it to be attached to. Select so it's linked. And then last but not least, we can see that now this looks gray on these other two layers. So I just put one curves layer on top of those other two. I know it looks kind of strange a little bit more because I have too many curved layers on here, but this is what we're going to. And then this is when I would save as a PSD, and then I would also file save as a JPEG, and the JPEG is the one that you're going to turn into Google Classroom.